decorative border. We will also indicate that the sign is to be painted dark green and lettered in metallic vinyl. This description will print on the estimate and is your indication to the customer of how the sign will look. Now we are ready to move on to the right half of the pricing screen. At the top we find the description box, which is used for a technical description of the sign, such as 48-inch by 72-inch MDO 3/4 inch good two sides. This description is automatically generated for your convenience, but you can change it at will. The Auto checkbox indicates if this description is being automatically generated or if it is the one you typed. As soon as you start typing in the description field, the Auto checkbox is automatically unchecked for you. Next come the subjectives of the software and the heart of the EstiMate pricing system. The first two sliders, Artwork Complexity and General Difficulty Level, are the only two you will use on a regular basis. We will discuss all of the sliders here, but keep in mind that in general you will use only the first two. Artwork complexity relates to the design time spent on the project, or that time spent at the computer or drawing board coming up with what the sign will look like. Note how when this slider moves, the design time changes. For our sign, we will adjust this until the design time is at about 1 hour. This represents the time required to scan the logo and put together the decorative sign border, and assures us that we get charged, or rather, that we charge the customer for the time spent designing the sign. General difficulty level is tied to production time, just like artwork complexity is tied to design time. Note that EstiMate has generated a default amount of production time for this job. EstiMate is generating this based on the production time question you answered when you set up the software and the surface area coverage you specified for your vinyl, as well as the time required to paint the sign background. For one color of vinyl and simple graphics, this time of 2 hours and 27 minutes is sufficient and should be accepted for the sign job. In the case of multiple colors, or in our case, difficult weeding in the logo and border areas, we need to adjust this upward a bit to add the required production time into our estimate. We will add about 45 minutes for these additional tasks. At this point, we are ready to click the Calculate button, and the price for our sign is automatically generated by EstiMate, based on our own labor rates, production speed, and material costs and markups. Now it's time to discuss the other three sliders. In a nutshell, they are as follows. The Shop Workload slider is where you can indicate if you are more or less busy than usual right now. Many shops will simply set this to 100% if they want to add a rush charge to a job. Above 50%, this slider will add to your profits, and below 50% it will take away from your profits. The Market Level slider represents the amount this sign will sell for in your market. The slider defaults to the percentage you set up when you first set up the software. The Margin slider is special. It does not represent your profit margin, but instead is a representation of the customer's attitude. We've all had customers that are especially difficult to deal with, and if you lower this slider, it will raise the price for these very special people. However, if they are looking over your shoulder, as such people are prone to do. They will only see you lowering what appears to be your profit margin. 2 secret keys on your keyboard will lower and raise this slider without the use of the mouse. Control and F11 will lower it, and Control and F12 will raise it. Now that we've seen the pricing of a vinyl sign, we will click OK to save this sign to the estimate we are working on.